Hey guys, it's Rachel. I wasn't going to make this video because I've had like a really lazy day. I'm just kind of hair scrape back, t-shirty type thing because quite a lot's been going on and I've not really been sleeping, and so I've just kind of tried today to, when I woke up, which was like 3 o'clock, to not shower and get out of bed, which sounds very bizarre, but try to just keep myself on a lower level so that hopefully I'll sleep better tonight. And then I got some really good news, and I decided that I had wanted to make this video, but I did get good news, and I think that that is something I feel incredibly grateful for. And we're looking at gratitude and into the new year. And so tonight, I know the video is a bit late for those in the UK, I'm sorry about that. We're looking at gratitude in the sense of coming into a new year and the expectations that we put on ourselves with it being a new year. And of course, it's not uncommon for people to have a list of New Year's resolutions. And actually something that made me laugh on Facebook was a picture that went up that just said that, you know, my only New Year's resolution is to remember to write 2013 instead of 2012. And I thought that was actually quite funny, because I guess it's a mistake that most of us make, because the time just seems to disappear. Coming into a new year can always be difficult, because I think it's ingrained in us, and well, certainly I've found, and not just with my eating disorder, that it is the time when you make your resolutions, that this is the time when, you know, you wipe the slate clean and you start all over again, and inevitably it messes up, and inevitably you end up being distressed, or you end up feeling like a failure. And perhaps the biggest one that people do with New Year's resolutions is lose weight, because we just had Christmas and everybody wants to lose the weight that they may have gained during Christmas. So that's a pretty common one, isn't it? And that's something that with an eating disorder that can play in your mind as well, because you can say, right now it's 2013, this is how this is going to work, and I'm not going to let this happen or that happen. And I think that when you're in recovery and then you're around people, I've been around people who, when we've gone into a new year, have made that decision that they're going to go on this diet and they're going to lose X amount of pounds or whatever, and it just all seems such a waste of energy. And so the videos this week, we were hoping to be able to focus more on how we deal with it in terms of holding on to what we do have and being grateful for what we do have, and those challenges where we feel we have to make a commitment, make a change, and then we feel like we've let ourselves down. That it doesn't have to be about that. That just because it's a new year doesn't mean anything like that has to change. And of course it's nice, we've come into a new year, it's the beginning of a new year, people are looking forward to a new year, we can reflect on last year. And I don't really want to tell you this, but I did blog it anyway. So I read through my post that I did this time last year. Oh my god, I actually think it was on the same day. That's really weird if it was on the 3rd as well. Oh, that's really strange. Anyway, there was a list of things that I was hoping to have by the end, or what was going to happen. And I read over it and I just thought, that's interesting, Rach, because it hadn't really happened. And I got the bad news about my results because of them not allowing me to have passed summer school because I didn't spend enough time online, and then trying to look for work and not being able to get work, the hopes for my relationship, which ended up falling apart in many regards. Well, it did fall apart, and there were many things that at that point on that day I had. And to look back on that now, I could either look back on it and see myself as a complete failure, or I can look back on it and be like, oh well, you know, that's what I wanted, that's what I wanted to be able to have, and that's okay. And those things are still, sorry, my wink then, do you think? Those things are still very actually important to me. I have graduated, I have my postgraduate in psychology, I have my qualification for the British Psychological Society and graduate basis for registration, and I have a mark for that, and I have therefore been able to apply for my clinical applications, the same universities I wanted to apply to last year, so Oxford, Liverpool, Leeds and Manchester, because ideally, it doesn't mean it has to be, I would like to be in the north at some point, or sort of in the future, or wherever. I mean, I'm willing to go elsewhere. So I've done all of that. I've managed to reconnect with my girlfriend. Things are different and things have changed enormously in terms of how we manage the relationship / friendship type thing. So that's something else. And so in all that time, when I look back over that year, I think to myself, well, you can look at what you've taken from that, or you can look at how much of a nightmare it was. And in all fairness, 2012 was absolute crap. It was just, no offence to anybody who was involved in anything with me, it was awful. My relationship fell apart at the beginning of the year, moved back home, I became catatomically depressed, put on lithium, pulled out of that, had to attempt to finish my postgrad, managed to finish my postgrad, still trying to apply for work and not being able to get it. And it's been a really hard year. It's been a really, really hard year, because applying for work over long periods of time and not getting any is actually really depressing, and it's very difficult. And I know that I'm not alone, and not just in this country but around. So that's something that's been very, very hard. However, if I look back over it, there's a lot that I can learn from it. And I can also take the positives. I mean, I had an amazing experience at Twickenham in London when I saw Lady Gaga and got to meet her. That was an experience that has changed me, and I've done quite a bit of writing on that. I have been to Nice with the girl and made some beautiful and amazing friends, and I'm eternally grateful for meeting them and for having that experience with Manda. And I have also been to Oslo, which was amazing, cold but amazing. And again, these experiences are things that I've put in front of me. Now, I'm not saying to you, put something like a trip to Oslo, because obviously if you can't afford that, you can't afford that. But having things to work towards, I can't just sit here and focus on all that crap last year. I have to sit here and think, but where, you know, in terms of gratitude, what was there? And I have to say that. I have to say the experience in London. I have to say that meeting up in Nice. I have to say, you know, seeing them, all my friends again back in Oslo. I have to see the fact that I completed my postgraduate. And when you look forward now to this new year, I would far rather you focused on what positives came out of last year. So if you're struggling, especially in this first week, or you have done over Christmas and it coming up to New Year and being this big build up, rather than focus on that, think about what came out of last year and the positives that came out of last year. Because I could sit here and list a million negatives, but I'm choosing not to, and I want you to make that choice as well. And in terms of the upcoming year, I dare you to choose to focus on the positive experiences that happened to you. not the negative experiences. That doesn't mean to be in denial of the negative experiences or to ignore them, but to hold on to what you do have. And something I learned, I always do actually, but I have my family. Through everything that happens, I have my family, and I am so thankful for them, and that includes the kids as well. And when I went round, and I wasn't expected to have New Year's Day dinner with them, but I went round to the kids and we sat at the table and we did this whole what are you thankful for, what are you grateful for, what's the one thing you would change. And it was a really positive exercise, and maybe it's actually something that you can do, and it doesn't mean it has to be a time of year that it happens. So what are you thankful for? Okay, and we went round the dinner table. What are you thankful for? What's the one thing that you would change or take away? Okay, what's the one thing that you would want? Like what? Not like magic power, but like want to be able to help or achieve or accomplish, in the sense of that it's helping people. And there was one other. What was the other one? Again, it was something surrounding being thankful, and I think that those are really, really important exercises. And this all takes the focus off, oh my god, it being a scary new year, because it is a new year, but it doesn't have to be scary. There's been some other suggestions online, is to get a jar and put kind of gratitude or what I'm grateful for, and little pieces of paper. And so when something positive happens, that experience for me on New Year's Day was amazing. So I'd write that down on a piece of paper and then like pop it in the jar. And then what the idea is at the same time next year that you open that and you look back at that. Another thing that I've done in the past is a happy book. So every time something positive happens, I write it down. And so these are all ways of focusing on what you have now, focusing on the positive, focusing on what you feel grateful for. And what motivated this video for me, because I wasn't going to, I'm really sorry, because I've just been so tired, and with Chaz and stuff, it's just been horrible, is I've just been offered an internship at Hermione DePaula, she's a British designer. Only issue, she's based in London and I'm in Manchester, but we're going to try and figure that out. And I'm like, I can't believe I've been offered it. It just is insane. It's come a few days into the new year, and I will be helping in the studio, day-to-day running. They're going to maybe let me try out in the kind of marketing department and see how I get on, because I do have some experience with that, but just generally being involved in the build-up to the shows. And I sit here and I just think I'm lucky, and I have to be grateful for that. I have to see that as being something incredibly positive. And as difficult as it's going to be in terms of finding accommodation, I'm not going to be paid and stuff, but to just have that chance is going to be amazing. And all I want for this year is to maintain my health, which means working with my psychiatrist. I'm looking forward to certain things. I've got friends coming over from France at the end of the month, which is going to be amazing. I'm going to New York in February. We're going away for my dad's 60th in September. So I want you to try and do that same thing, and I want you to try and look at what there is and what positive things have happened over this past couple of weeks, because everybody has to have something. You can't have gone the past couple of weeks and had absolutely nothing, because even when I was really, really, really poorly, there were the odd things. Okay, so it doesn't matter how small it is. And I will let you go, and I will see you next week, and I will say busu busu mwah.